Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Motive.Means.Opportunity, where true crime meets intuition, where we mix facts with intuitive sessions, where I get energetic hits in my remote viewings and we weave it all together to see what makes sense. And in my first remote viewing session of Lynette and Brian Hooker, something felt off. Something just felt off. I'm going to remind you of that first remote viewing session. And today I'm going to tap into the soulmate itself, where Ashley Banfield is recording live from the Bahamas. And what you see is a picture that she took yesterday of the ship that Brian and Lynette Hooker were living on while they were sailing the world, and recording it on Sailing with the Hookers on TikTok and YouTube. This is the soulmate. And so again, tomorrow we're going to do a much more in-depth video, but today I just want to tap in and see if I can get any more information, intel on what went wrong that night. And I'm just first going to remind you of my first remote viewing session now. Sorry about it. Sorry. Here's what I got. I set the intention that I want to see when they get in the boat from Hope Town out to where they have it docked in the Elbow Cay in the Bahamas. I immediately am taken to a vision of them at the dock and the dinghies below, and they are drunk. In fact, I see Lynette bending down and she almost falls forward, like off the dock, like she's pretty wobbly. He's drinking as well. So that's a flash. And then I'm getting it. I'm on the dinghy. Okay, goosebumps. I'm on the dinghy. I actually can still feel it now. I don't see anything, but I feel the waves. I feel the waves. We're going against the current. And Brian's being kind of reckless. It is bouncy. It is bouncy. And I hear Lynette say, "Slow down." And then I hear Brian say, "Shut up, Lynette." And she goes overboard. Okay. There was a little bit more to that remote viewing session, but I'm not going to get into that. Go watch that in my first video of this case for its entirety. But I'm just curious because in Ashley's reporting, which I'll show you now before we go into the second remote viewing clip and a much more detailed video to follow again tomorrow, I just want to indicate that Ashley is out there and she's discovered a little bit of what I said to be true. Let's watch. Okay, so this is super important. I'm so glad Ashley's there because now I've learned as well that they weren't in Hope Town, which I'm going to go back and show you another clip of Ashley's visit yesterday. But I want to just show you this clip because, like I said in my first remote viewing session, I feel like Brian was driving too quickly, hence why Lynette yelled, actually, "Slow down, Brian." And that's important. Listen in as to why.
Is that it is now, what, 2 minutes past 7, and I want to show everybody.
They left at 7:30, apparently. So it's important to hear what Ashley has to say now because they left at 7:30 and it wasn't Hope Town. It was White Sound, and it's a bay, the Abaca Inn in White Sound. So I will show you that briefly on the map here. Let's just, because again, I just learned this and I gotta make sure that I'm in the right location. So they went into White Sound here, and I'll show you specifically what this captain tells Ashley they had their boat moored, right around in this Aunt Pat's Bay where a lot of people did. And again, I'll show you a more specific map, and much more detailed again tomorrow. But this captain is saying that they brought their dinghy in here and their boat was just around the bay, anchored here, where a lot of people have their boats anchored in this Aunt Pat's Bay, I assume. And so the point being, this is all protected water, right? It just doesn't make sense. But first, let's go back to what Ashley says, because that's really important here. Really, really important for the timing. The timing. Listen.
It's getting close to sundown, right? So if you're out drinking and having fun in town, around 7 o'clock, you should probably be thinking you should be heading towards your yacht. And a lot of these guys have their tenders hanging off the back. See that little rubber dinghy? It's not that different than the one that Brian and Lynette had. But, it's starting to get dark, and it gets dark fairly quickly. And again, this is 7:03 p.m. and the sun is heading to the horizon. And a lot of these boat owners would be making their plans to be back on board. Some will travel at night, but it's not smart unless you have lights on your boat. But not a lot of those little dinghies. They don't usually have lights on those little dinghies.
Exactly, and depending on your location, like I said, as to where you are, probably, so in some cases it's just a little jog around the corner.
Yeah.
And in Lynette and Brian's case, quite frankly, it's just outside the channel and around the corner.
They had like a 15-minute tender ride?
Yeah, about 10 minutes, maybe
10,
15 tops,
okay.
But 10, I'd say 10.
Okay.
Like I said, they're just outside the channel.
But that's, if you're at a bar, I got to get back to my boat. I don't have lights on my little tender, and if anything goes south, I'm gonna be in trouble. You see these little tenders all hanging off everybody's back of their sailboats. Well, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I feel, yeah.
Beautiful.
He sent a console style.
Yeah.
Got a wheel, got a shift.
Gorgeous.
Lynette and Brian didn't have that.
No, they had just a little
The
tiny
one with the little
bathtub.
tiller, yeah.
Yep.
And a kill switch, of course. But
Yeah. Okay. It is now 7:58 p.m. and I'm just above the harbor. So I'm trying to give you the best shot. I'm basically up at the room where I'm staying now, but you can see it's dark. It got dark fast, actually way faster than I expected. So if Brian and Lynette were leaving the Abaco Inn at 7:30 and then 10 to 15 minutes or so on their dinghy before he said, she fell off. Frankly, I don't even think it was that long because they didn't make it back to Soulmate, and it would have taken 10 to 15 minutes to get to Soulmate. So it would have only been about 7:40 at the point where he says she fell off, and they would have had 20 more minutes until this light where you can still see someone in the water. It's not pitch black, but it is getting dark. Okay, so there you have it. What a day. First of all, Captain Ronnie. Oh my God. Hello. He's amazing. Love him. And now I'm going to make it a mission of mine to vacation here and call up Captain Ronnie and spend time with him, go drinking.
I would too.
This is the hard part about being here. I think I mentioned it earlier, is landing in the Bahamas and this beautiful water and all the people having their fun and the time of their lives and knowing I'm working.
Okay, so I'm going to just show you a couple of minutes of the clip when Captain Ronnie describes the waves that night, because Captain Ronnie was in that same area, not exactly, but close enough that the water would have been the same, the currents would have been the same. And here's what he tells Ashley, and then I'm going to get into my second remote viewing and see if I can get some more hints as to what happened and where Lynette might actually be. Is she in the water? Is she on land? We know her watch floated ashore. I also have another thing that it would be very interesting to find out, because Ashley reported prior that Lynette's daughter, Carly, said she was able to track Brian's whereabouts through his watch. That his watch showed him on the soulmate when he claims he was paddling for till 4 a.m. to get across a bay that the captain just tells Ashley he has swam in 2 hours. Okay. So make that make sense. But I noticed in the interviews that Brian's not wearing his watch and he has a very significant tan. We also know when Ashley pulls up here that the dinghy's not there. We also know that the night after Brian was released, he doesn't sound like he made it back to Soulmate because it was too late. But the next morning, the Bohemian police were on the craft. The dinghy's missing. The craft looks like the Soulmate, like it's been sealed up. Brian's still around, as far as we know. I'd love to know where his watch is. And was he wearing it? If there's any pictures of where they were at, footage that night, where they were at, was he wearing his watch? I think that would be pivotal. So I'm going to see if I can get that in my remote viewing too, if I can see if he's wearing a watch. But first, listen to this. Okay, let's watch as they approach the Soulmate.
It's a catch.
It's 46 feet.
Yes, ma'am. And this is the very boat. Yep, this is it. This is Soulmate. And well, they said near the Conkin. However, it's more near to Marsh Harbor Marina. But that's okay. It's here in Marsh Harbor.
It's just so sad looking at it. It's up close. It just feels like there was just such a happy, potential future with two people who had sold everything to sail. And now here it is. It's sort of eerie being this close to it, actually.
I'm just trying to see if I'm getting any intuitive hits before I jump into my remote viewing. I can definitely feel there's energy here. Like I'm actually, as I'm doing this now, I suddenly feel some serious weight in my chest. I wasn't anticipating this. Whoa. Sorry, I wasn't anticipating this. I suddenly feel very heavy in my chest. I don't know what that is about. I'm not sure what that is about. Let's keep watching. Whew. Whew. Like I can't breathe. Sorry. Like I literally, whew, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Whew, sorry. If you're new here, whoa, I volunteer as a psychic medium with the Find Me group. And I get all the clairs and I can feel in my body, whew, I haven't even started my remote session. Whoa. Hi, sorry. I was absolutely not expecting this. I'm spinning. I'm spinning. I'm spinning. I haven't even tapped into my remote session yet. See if I can get something now, but oh my God. There is something on that boat. Sorry, y'all. I'm literally I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. Holy F. I don't know. Whoa. Something's on that boat. Something's on that boat. Something happened. Whoa. Okay. Something's going down on this boat. Remote viewings, clips, and images of flashes of things that go down. And I'm trying to piece it together right now, but I can barely breathe. I have all the clairs. I feel blood. I taste. I see. I hear. I have done some telepathy before and remote viewing and was successful in finding a missing boy before here in Canada. So I'm going to go back to this clip for a second, but man, I got to zero in and do a remote viewing after because I can't effing breathe. There's something, this clip, Ashley, of you right here. There is something, my dear, here on this freaking boat. It's at the back of the boat because it's dissipating. I've got to go back. I'm going back because it's somewhere. Yeah. Something happened at the back of this boat. It's not up at the front, it's on the back. The energy is more intense on the back. It's spinning again.
It was just such a happy, potential future with two people who had sold everything to sail. And now here it is. It's sort of eerie being this close to it, actually.
It's right here. I don't know what this means yet. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with this solar panel. Ooh, because it's trying to make sense of what this means. I'm going to try to get something for you, Ashley. I'm trying to make sense. Okay, because it's this specific view. It happened in the back of the boat. It happened in the back of the boat. Okay, I'm going to keep playing. But it's right at this point, this view, that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I'm wondering if this is where she might have been strangled because and struggling to breathe because I can't breathe. And as I move forward with Ashley forward to the front of the boat, whew, sorry, y'all. I'm so dizzy. Ah, ah, whoo, ah. As we go towards the stern, the aft of the boat here, I can't fucking breathe. I'm spinning. I'm so dizzy. I haven't even started my remote viewing session. The energy is so intense. I really can't even, I'm struggling. I am spinning as I'm saying this and I can barely breathe. There is something definitive about the energy on this boat. I'm going to try to keep it grounded and then I'm going to have to ground myself and come back with this remote viewing with giving you some findings because like I said, I can't even breathe right here. Woo.
So I do not see the tender.
But as they get away farther, oh, and this view here, whew, I am so dizzy. But I can still breathe when I'm away. When it was closer, when Ashley was closer, let's rewind. I can't breathe. Okay, my breathing is better. My breathing is better. So now I'm gonna go tap in and come back to you with what I get on my second remote viewing hit. Still super dizzy, super dizzy. Stay tuned. Oh, wow. Okay, everybody. I've done a few sessions. First here at the boat. I tried. I still can't breathe. So I went back. I asked for my remote viewing session to be here on the boat, to focus on the boat. And I see remote viewing is very just glimpses, right? Flashes. First of all, I feel the waves. Goosebumps. I can feel the waves. There's something going on the floor of the boat behind the satellite panels. And I think it's a struggle, a physical struggle. Can't breathe. So I go back to my first remote viewing session. I do believe they get in the dinghy. It's a little darker. They left a little later, and Brian's going a lot faster than he should. They don't have lights, and it is bouncy. And Lynette screams to slow down. There is a fight. I do believe Lynette went in as per a push. Don't think the intention was planned, premeditated, accidental, because I then pushed that remote viewing a little further, and I see calm water. I see Brian trying to figure out where she is. I think Lynette's running, swimming away from him for fear. And just my intuitive hits. And she gets back to the boat, swimming. Whew. And I think that's where things went awry. My head hurts and I can't breathe. Everybody, thank you for being here. Something's on that boat. There's evidence on that boat. I think there's possibly two scenes, the dinghy and the soulmate. I'm going to keep working it. I'm going to keep trying to get more details. And I also found, as I've been discussing how remote viewing was trained to spies, I found a video of such I want to show you for this afternoon. For those that are interested in remote viewing and the government's involvement for spying, love and light. Thanks for being here.